Welcome to how to play the dynamic pricing game. This game is designed for marketing students to really understand how dynamic pricing works and why it is so effective in service industries. The great news is it's a very easy game for educators to run, and it's a lot of fun for students to play. So I'm assuming you've come across the web page with the information. So when you download the Excel template, this is how it will open. I've got some pretend data in teams 1 to 4. That won't be there. So you'll still have team 0. And what team 0 is a benchmark. They are a static hotel that lasts each round, and they do not change their prices. And they run the same 300, 650, 900 prices every single round. So therefore, I'm hoping that all your student teams should be able to beat them. Okay, so each team, what they need to do is go through and enter 6 prices: an early bird price or a standard price for low season, shoulder season, and peak season. Now there's a decision sheet that you'll hand out. They enter their team number, and you can play up to 10 teams. You don't need to play them all. If you've got 5 teams, that's fine. I've put in 4 as an example. And the teams go through and they give you their prices in a sheet. So you enter them as the sheets come to you. They will also put a inventory fence, the maximum number of rooms they want to sell at the early price, which is usually a discount price. And that protects their inventory from selling too much at a low price. Now I've just put some random numbers in here, so that may not add up in terms of this is more expensive than that, but I've just showing you how the game works. Typically early bird prices are cheaper to win early people and start to filling up your hotel, and then you have a premium price as people get less price sensitive. So just quickly a recap: high price sensitivity for low season. They are looking for good deals. These people are a bit mixed. They're a bit moderate in terms of price sensitivity. And as we get to peak season, they become less price sensitive. Obviously, in each case, people booking early are looking for a better deal. And as they get towards later, which I'm calling standard price, they are less price sensitive. So all you have to do as the educator is to go through and enter those 9 numbers for each team. Once you've put everybody on, I would show this to the whole class and go, can you please confirm I've entered the numbers correctly? Because you certainly don't want an issue once the results come out. If you accidentally miss a number, I'm going to take a number out here, this warning pops up. That tells you that you are missing some data. So I'll just put a number back in, doesn't matter what it is, and that warning goes away. The other thing you need to be aware of is you need the same number of teams. Now, for most of you, that will happen. You'll play rounds 1, 2, and 3, probably in the one session, and there's no reason for teams to come and go. If you're playing this on a weekly basis, that may occur. So if you're missing a team, say there was no team 5 in the first week and they turned up in the second week, simply enter these numbers here and put them into team 5. If you don't have a team, the same number of teams, the results won't run because the game algorithm is expecting the same number of teams. So once you've entered those 9 for each team and check the results, you simply come down to, I'm not showing you here, but there's some results tabs underneath. Okay, I've just adjusted down so you can see the tabs now. And you click the results for round 1, 2, 3, wherever you're up to. So round 1 is already happening. Everything is calculated. You don't need to do anything. And you can see we have income this round, all rounds. This is round 1, so they're the same. You have rankings provided, and this is important information for students: how much revenue they made, and each of the seasons. So this helps them understand how well they're doing. As you can see, the peak season numbers are quite high. This is 13 weeks, 26 weeks. But even though this is twice the amount of time, people here are far more price sensitive, willing to pay less. So students have got to work that out. And you've got all your metrics here, all calculated for students to work with. Occupancy rate, number of rooms sold, revenue per available room, which is simply this number here, divided by, each hotel has 100 rooms, divided by 365. Okay, but in hotel business, that is the key number. We've got how many rooms do we have, and we've got to maximize the revenue across our asset base. Revenue per room sold, which is a reflection of how well they're pricing, how much money they're actually bringing in on a per room basis, but this is a key metric. All of this is explained further in the website. And then you've got stats on booking timing, revenue market shares, so they, again, all by season, so they can see what's going on. Room market shares. Price premium, above 1 is you're pricing above the market, 1 at the market, less than you below. And then finally we've got the graphs. And I usually, what I do is scan through the table, then leave the graphs up. And every now and then students will go, can I see the prices again? And I show them and they start connecting the dots. And once they're starting to understand the mechanics between pricing, competition, seasonality, their decisions should improve and they'll start outperforming Team Zero. And again, I've just entered some random numbers here for round 2. And you do the same. You give the decision sheets back. They come back to you. You then put up the results. The pricing. You go, is this correct? Yes. Let's go see the results. And you simply click and it's sitting there. And this time you can see for all rounds is more than this round because it's the last 2 rounds put together. And we progress all the way through and we come down and we see that at this stage Team 4 versus Team 3, they're the top 2, and most teams are outperforming Team 0. If I come back up here, we've got Team 0 who's doing static. They're coming 4th. Team 3 is coming last. They need to rethink what their pricing is. And obviously teams 2, 4 and 1 are doing well. Now, over the time of the game, these numbers will dramatically drift apart. And that enables the student teams to learn because they can see they're doing well, they're not doing well, how can I improve? And then we just repeat. Now, as I've highlighted in the information on the website, rounds 1, 2, or 3 are identical. Market doesn't change. Rounds 4 is a wild card where the entire market is down due to adverse weather conditions. And for the whole year, 50% is lost. So that means peak season becomes less price sensitive because it's not a tourist destination that's sought after. In round 5, we have a reversal of that where the local tourist authority have done something for shoulder season, organised a series of major events, and that season becomes effectively peak season. So I've put those 2 in because by round 3, the teams that are doing well tend to start coasting and they repeat their decisions. But by mixing it up, they actually have to apply what they've learned. And then round 6, we're back to normal. So a key metric for students is my round 6 numbers should be better than anything else. It should be my best year because now I understand how dynamic pricing works and I'm outperforming Team 0 by a long way. So I hope you enjoy the game because it's a great game to play, easy for you to run and a lot of fun for students. I would suggest maybe 2 sessions, rounds 1, 2 and 3. Save it, let the lessons sink in, and then next time 4, 5 and 6 with the wildcards. Good luck with it.